Hello, greetings, and welcome to this exclusive interview with His Imperial Majesty, the Ooni of Ife, Alailua Arule Odua. His Imperial Majesty, Babatunde Eniton Adeye Ogunwusi Ojaja II, the spiritual leader of the Yoruba nation, the head of the Oodua house, the Kabiyesi himself of Ile-Ife. We are with him in his apartment in the United Kingdom, and this has been brought to you courtesy Rockwood Factory Media in association with Arise Media, and our production team is made up of Isaiah McKay and Nelson Spike. I am your hostess, Her Royal Highness Princess Moradion Adedoyin Sholan. Kabiyesi-san. It's a great honor to have you give us a little bit of your time, even though we know that your schedule is quite tight. But we do believe that you can't come on such an important trip to the United Kingdom where masses of your people of the Yoruba nation live and reside, and not be able to at least capture some of your thoughts on audiovisual. And thus we're very grateful that you've allowed us a little bit of space to speak with you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. My first question to you, sir, or should I say, what I would like to ask you first of all, is sometimes we look at people who become monarchs and we think they must have had a life before, they became a monarch or before they were installed. We'd just like to find out who His Imperial Majesty is, your family background, your lineage, that's your royal lineage, and of course, what was it that you did before you became the monarch that we know today?
Thank you very much. Thank you for my name. I'm the idea the second from PSC Ruling House in Abedebele compound in Ife. One of the ruling houses in Ile-Ife. And to be very honest, I came from a very humble background. A fifth child out of 7 children. And the last son. Before I ascended the throne of my forebears, I was an astute entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur that actually tried and tested so many initiatives. As a self-employed young graduate, and I did a couple of businesses, both locally and internationally, for about 20 years before God Almighty called me to this job. So I lived my long life as a prince, a coded prince, that I didn't make it very obvious to know, but be very focused generally all along my life, but with a strange birth too. But to the glory of God, He brought me to ascend the throne of my forefathers, and I thank God Almighty for bringing me thus far.
Thank you very much, Kabiyesi. The next question I would like to ask you, sir, is: was there anything in particular that prepared you for this great role and this massive throne that you sit on today?
The truth be told, kings are born, not made. Whenever God appoints king by himself, he would have prepared that king for everything that the king will use on the throne. So to me, who am I? Just nobody in his presence. So he prepared me. He's been preparing me for a very long time, not knowing that he's preparing me for greater things. Lo and behold, it took me to that level of greatness. So I have all the cause to give him that glory, that honor, and that adoration for have helped me thus far. So he directs my affairs 100%, and all the guiding advice.
Thank you, sir. Some people, Kabisi, hold the view that due to modern civilization, technology, advancement, and growth around the world generally, our African monarchs have been put at the back burner by politicians. And I'm talking now about our homestead, Nigeria as a bigger entity, but really back home in the Yoruba enclave of that territory. As such, sometimes we wonder, as a princess myself, I wonder, and I used to ask my late father, why would a king go to a politician, a governor that was voted in by people, and he has to approve a monarch that was chosen through Ifa, the voice of Olodumare? It doesn't sit well. So I thought maybe the best person to ask would be yourself, sir, to answer that question.
Well, unfortunately, it is what it is in our system. At some point, the monarchy played a very pivotal role in putting the entire structure together. Not only in Nigeria, but the entire continent of Africa. The first Governor General in the whole of Africa, the very first appointed, was my second predecessor, Sir Adesoji Aderebi of Blessed Memory, for his role as a monarch, as a traditional leader, and the role generally that he played. So what am I saying? Kingship system in Africa is very ancient. It's part of nature. Politicians can't do without the kings. Amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914, Southern Protectorate and Northern Protectorate were being put together by the kings. That was when Nigeria was given back to. So the truth be told, it's very difficult to do without them. But in order to clip the excesses of some of the kings, they were taken out of the constitution of the Nigerian constitution in 1976. And since then, they have been relegated. But a monarch is closer to his people. It's very important for everybody to know that. They solve the problem of their community. They have the heirs of their people because they see them on every day basis. It's natural. So that's the reason why politicians just work with them. After working with them, they focus on matters that has to do with governance. However, they dictate the pace based on the Nigerian constitution. It's unfortunate, but it shouldn't be like that. shouldn't be at all. So much. We are struggling and working with government for all those things to change.
Thank you, sir. The reason why I particularly wanted to ask that question is because we have children of Nigerian origin, of Yoruba origins, who have been born abroad. I have children, and they ask such questions because they see here when a prime minister is elected, the newscaster would say, the prime minister elect. By the following day, when the prime minister drives into Buckingham Palace, he goes behind shut doors, has his tete-a-tete with Her Majesty the Queen. She gives that particular prime minister her blessing as a monarch and her approval. And when the prime minister emerges, the newscasters then change and say, here comes the prime minister of Britain. So in my head, I've always wondered, why would our monarchs have to go and get their approval from a politician who was elected? Just as you said, sir, the gates of a palace are never shut. Then I don't remember my grandfather's palace being shut, and I'm sure the Ooni's palace is never shut because, as you said, you are close to your people, and people need to have access to whoever their leader is. We can't say that's the same with politicians. And I believe that's why younger people who are growing up in the diaspora, who are looking at both, so they're a bit confused. How come this is what happens here in the West? And how come it's different back home? What is it that the Council of Obas are going to be able to do to rectify it? I do know that Kabisi did say that something is being done, but I believe the quicker, the better, so that lest we forget, lest our children never know.
Well, what is critical is for the monarch to take the bull by the horn by themselves, prove to the world that they are capable and competent, and they can get things done. It is the same world that will fight on their behalf. But if monarchs are not rising up to their responsibility, taking care of the people, coming up with initiatives, innovations, I think it will remain the same. It will be the same status quo. But if we start to see dynamic monarchs that are ready to work, that are ready to be impactful, obviously things will change. So I think it's the monarchs themselves that will redefine things. The system can't, but what do you have to offer the system for the system to redefine?
So Kabisi, can we believe and trust that you as our Onorisha would lead that?
Well, you're saying I should lead. I don't believe in supremacy. The overall supreme being is the King of Kings. Leadership comes with a lot of responsibility. But what the King of Kings is telling me to do every day, that's what I'm doing. So I won't say I'm a leader. I have other monarchs in Yoruba that have really, they've been there for many years. I have to respect and honor them. But the truth be told, who is greater than the King of Kings?
No one.
Nobody. So if I say I want to assume that leadership role, I'm just deceiving myself. Everything depends on our Creator, the only supreme being that brought me to this world.
Thank you, sir. So what does Kabisi think about the distinct roles of our Yoruba royals and, the politicians? There must be a way where we are able to separate the roles of each, because each has their own distinct roles and what they are meant to do for their people, because after all, leadership is service to humanity.
It's not very ideal for kings to get involved in politics. It's not very ideal. So, under normal circumstances, the king should just both left and right, they are all his subjects. Should try and work towards balancing the whole thing. So what am I saying? To to get involved with politics because they will come and go, you will still be on the throne. And you have to face the music with your people. Your people will just say you're biased king. So it's not very good to be biased. Just be neutral and put all your hopes in God. So you should separate politics and kingship system. They're two different things. You are there to serve your people. Politics, oh yes, they're there to serve people too, but on a very short tenure. Maximum, a young constitution, 8 years. You are there to serve forever. As God
pleases.
Thank
you, Your Majesty. To know the true character of a boy child or a man, I would say show me the women in his life or in the lives of such a boy child or a man. There are different kinds of females in the lives of a male child, from the grandmother to the mother, to the sisters, to the aunts, wife, daughter, nieces, mistresses, girlfriends, sometimes side chicks. All these women do exist in the life of a man. How do you see the role of the woman in Yoruba, the Yoruba nation? And how is it that a woman is able to own her own space and still be able to contribute effectively to the development and growth of any community?
No human being born of a man and a woman didn't pass through the womb of a woman. They give back to presidents, governors, kings. So give honor to whom honor is due. They are our mothers.
May I quote you on that, Kabisi?
Affirmative. They are our mothers. You have to respect and honor them. You have to put them in their exalted position they should be. Women, to me, they are very strong. They are very time conscious. In any family that will get an attack, the woman will be the one to receive it. They are the prayer warriors in the household. So they have a lot of role other than raising children. Women shouldn't just be shoved aside. Women should be carried along in some sensitive nation building matters, and they should be respected. It's very important for them to have that role of that sense of belonging in anything as far as nation building is concerned. So to me, I belong to the school of thought that women have a lot.
Thank you, sir. So in the Yoruba nation itself, historically, we want to believe that the role of the woman was extremely pivotal. Absolutely. In all aspects.
Absolutely.
The reason why I'm asking this, Kabisi, is the high amount of domestic violence, killings of women, raping of women that goes on not only at the African continent as a whole, but even in our own enclave, the Yoruba nation. And it does bring a lot of heartbreaking moments when one thinks of those things that are still happening today in 21st century.
It's unfortunate that such things are still happening. Domestic violence and all that. What is causing such a thing naturally? We should try as much as possible to get to the bottom of it. Women shouldn't be abused physically or doing it all. It's very barbaric. It's very demeaning for any human being to do that. And it should be preached against. Whatsoever frustration you might probably be getting from a woman. Walk away. Why should you let it degenerate to that level? Because the world will take sides, even if you are not the one at fault. If you have touched her, the world will blame you. So in Yoruba land, not only in Yoruba land, entire country, Nigeria, it's all the good thing. What is bad is bad. The rate of women violence is too alarming. It is this kind of awareness that will make it to be going down. I think there should be more advocacy towards that. So keep it up, and everybody should be talking about
domestic violence. Thank you, Royal Majesty. Now we're talking about your trip to UK and specifically to be with your people. What has been your Majesty's impression on how the Yorubas in the diaspora in the UK comport themselves during your visit? What have you been able to get as a personal feedback? Do they know who they are? Do they know what it is to be Yoruba? Is there anything that can be done to further enhance the essence of the Yoruba nation so that it doesn't die off?
Well, for me, when I got in, the kind of love that I was showered with, second to none. I can only thank each and everybody, both far and near, that came from various places in the United Kingdom. Drove several hours to London to receive me and to be following every of our program. I can only thank them. They really, really made me proud. And I promise not to disappoint them. I felt that. But our Ruth, as a Yoruba man and woman, it's unfortunate we're losing our values, we're losing our heritage. It hasn't been properly passed down to the next generation of children. Most children don't understand Yoruba. Fathers and mothers don't teach them. So gradually they don't know who they are or where they're coming from. They don't have a clue about what's going on back at home. Not very good. We launched a program in Nigeria called Soede Yoruba More. I realized that we have to bring it down to London.
Yes, sir.
We launched it in the US. We're launching it again in London. That is very important so that our heritage, our tradition won't go into extinction.
Thank you, sir. Two more questions and we'll be rounding up, Kabiyesi. What has been your own mindset, your specific visions and your dreams for the Yoruba nation, and how you see us progressing when we're talking about technology, design, innovation, inventions, exceptional creativity? Because from history, part of which I have heard you speak about, and some of which we've heard in various other aspects, the Yorubas had their own high level of scientific discoveries way back, centuries back. We look at the obelisk in Ife of Bawamia. Nobody knows how it got there. Nobody knows the history. Our children here want to know what happened. How did we lose such beautiful gifts from the Creator?
What is critical for us, which will make things to start to come back like that, is unity, unity, and unity all the way. So we need to all come together. to discover our strength. We all need to come together to speak with one voice. In unity, there is a lot of strength. Yes, a lot of renaissance took place in Yoruba. The Bronze Age started from us, Steel Age started from us, Stone Age started from us. No disputes concerning that. But how well have we propagated, how well have we spoken about our story? How impactful are we in the current world? The only thing we do in Yoruba land is just to backbite and hate ourselves. Whoever that God has lifted up, instead of all of us to join hands and lift that person up, we'll be backbiting that person. So that is a fundamental fact. Once we can all come together and reach out preaching. I love peace, I love harmony, I love peaceful coexistence. Fingers are not equal. Not even one is equal to another.
Thank you, sir.
Let us all come together.
And unity is the key word, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. What does your Imperial Majesty think about the role of the media within the household of royalty in the Yoruba nation, especially in delivering to the masses, both at home and abroad, the true and correct picture of who we are as Yoruba and what our monarchy really stands for?
Well, the role of media is very key for us to pass the message across. For a progressive monarch, naturally media will gravitate towards you. And if you don't manage it well, it can actually boomerang. So what is important is for you to be progressive all the way. If you're progressive, you don't negotiate any other thing. Be progressive all the way. Don't go otherwise. Because we have a lot to put in place in Yoruba land. We have a lot to sort out in Yoruba land. Because we have a problem in Yoruba land. Because we have to bring ourselves together. It's very critical that we solve that problem. Very critical. We resolve that issue. Very critical that we all come together. So, for Yoruba race, everything centers around unity. So it's very important for us to know this. Then,
Thank you so much, sir. Before we say goodbye, we'd like you to speak to your people, the Yorubas, the children of Oduduwa. The message you want them to take with them.
in the Caribbean, Brazil, Cuba, other West African countries, etc. It's a very big family of Oduduwa descent up to 500 million across the entire continent, various continents of the world. For all of us to come together as one big happy family. That unity is very key. Unity is our watchword, and there's a lot of strength in unity and peaceful coexistence. We love one another, uphold our heritage, uphold our culture, uphold our tradition. Pass it down to your next generation. Let your children know who you are and where you are from. Help others that are helpless. Pull their hands up, and God will definitely pull your hand up. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Rockwood Media and Rise Media. I'd like to thank you, Kabisi, for granting us time. And from the household of my forebears, they are Caribous of Remoland, who come from Iremo quarters in Ilefe. I say thank you, sir. Keep that out. Well, listen. Keep it producing. Agbára Ọlọ́run á máa jẹ́ fún mi. Thank you so much. May you live long. May you live well. May you continue to reign in peace. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. Ọlọ́fin Àdìmúlà, Aláìlúwà, Kábíyèsí, Babátúndé, Ẹnìtàn, Adéyẹyè, Ògúnwùsì, Ọ̀jájá II, the Onírìṣà of Ile-Ife, West Africa, and the leader, spiritual leader of the Yoruba people and Yoruba nation worldwide. Thank you for being with us. Hope you've learned something from our monarch. Hope you'll be able to take a few nuggets home, not just for yourself, but also for your children and the coming generation and the people around you. And we mustn't forget, our monarch's word to us is unity. Once we're united, the Yoruba nation will have a way forward in the world. Thank you.